The idea of a skyscraper often conjures up images of modern cities filled with steel and glass towers that pierce the sky, but few realize that some of the earliest high-rise buildings were not built in New York, Dubai, or Shanghai. Instead, they emerged centuries ago in the heart of the Arabian Peninsula, in places where the sun blazes mercilessly, and the land is shaped by endless deserts and rugged mountains. These ancient skyscrapers, crafted from mud bricks and built to withstand both time and climate, stand as a testament to human ingenuity. They were constructed long before reinforced concrete and advanced engineering techniques revolutionized urban landscapes, proving that the desire to reach for the skies is not a modern ambition, but a fundamental aspect of civilization's growth. One of the most remarkable examples of ancient high-rise architecture is found in the city of Shibam, Yemen. Dubbed the Manhattan of the Desert, Shibam is a UNESCO World Heritage Site featuring hundreds of towering structures that date back over 500 years. These buildings, some reaching up to 30 meters, 100 feet, in height, are constructed entirely from sun-dried mud bricks, a building material that has been used for thousands of years. Unlike modern skyscrapers that rely on steel frames and reinforced concrete, these ancient towers were built with nothing but earth, water, and human skill. Their presence defies expectations, standing tall in the middle of an unforgiving desert landscape where extreme heat, sandstorms, and time threaten their survival. The architectural design of Shibam's towers is astonishingly advanced for its time. The buildings were constructed close together, forming a dense urban cluster that maximized space while providing protection against invaders. The narrow alleys between them were designed to provide shade, reducing temperatures at ground level and making the city more livable. The thick mud brick walls act as natural insulators, keeping the interiors cool during the scorching daytime heat and warm during the chilly desert nights. This passive climate control, achieved without modern air conditioning, highlights the deep understanding that ancient architects had of their environment. But why did the people of Shibam and other ancient Arab cities choose to build upwards rather than expanding outward? The answer lies in both practicality and necessity. Unlike many Western civilizations that had vast lands to expand into, settlements in Arabia often faced geographical constraints. Fertile land near rivers and oases was limited and needed to be preserved for agriculture. Expanding outward would have meant sacrificing precious farmland, so instead, they built vertically, creating compact, efficient urban spaces that could accommodate growing populations without encroaching on agricultural land. Shibam's vertical construction also had a strategic military advantage. During ancient times, cities were frequently targeted by raiders and hostile tribes. A high-rise city was far easier to defend than a sprawling one. The elevated vantage points provided by the towers allowed inhabitants to spot approaching enemies from a distance, while the single-gated entrance made it difficult for attackers to penetrate the city's defenses. In essence, these ancient skyscrapers functioned not only as homes but as fortresses, designed to withstand both human threats and the relentless forces of nature. The concept of vertical living was not unique to Yemen. Other parts of the Arabian Peninsula also developed their own versions of high-rise structures, adapting them to local conditions. In Oman, for example, ancient watchtowers and multi-story dwellings were constructed on rocky cliffs, using stone instead of mud bricks to withstand the humid coastal climate. In Saudi Arabia, similar techniques were used in cities like Al-Ula, where towering mud brick structures have stood for centuries, showcasing a continuous architectural tradition that prioritized sustainability long before it became a modern concern. One of the most fascinating aspects of these ancient skyscrapers is their continued inhabitance and preservation. Unlike many ancient ruins that have been abandoned and left to decay, the towers of Shibam are still home to thousands of people today. Generations have lived within these structures, maintaining the architectural traditions that have been passed down for centuries. However, modernization and neglect now pose significant threats to these historical marvels. Climate change, urbanization, and the introduction of modern materials are eroding traditional building techniques, leading to the gradual deterioration of these once thriving cities. Efforts are being made by UNESCO and local conservationists to preserve these historic high-rises, but the challenge is immense. The delicate balance between restoration and modernization is difficult to maintain. Introducing modern infrastructure, such as electricity and plumbing, into these ancient buildings requires careful planning to ensure that the structures remain stable. Additionally, rural-to-urban migration has led to declining populations in some of these historical cities, further increasing the risk of neglect and decay. Despite these challenges, the lessons of Arabia's ancient skyscrapers remain highly relevant today. As the world faces increasing urbanization, population growth, and climate change, the sustainable design principles of these mud brick towers could inspire modern architects to rethink how cities are built in hot and arid climates. The passive cooling techniques, space-efficient layouts, and use of locally available, renewable materials offer valuable insights for contemporary urban planning. In many ways, these ancient high-rises embody the perfect harmony between human innovation and environmental adaptation. They demonstrate that cities can be both functional and sustainable, proving that ancient civilizations were far more advanced than they are often given credit for. Today, as skyscrapers continue to dominate the skylines of major cities around the world, it is worth remembering that the concept of vertical living is not a product of modern technology. It was already a reality in the deserts of Arabia centuries ago. As we look to the future of urban development, perhaps we should turn to the past for inspiration. The towering mud brick cities of Arabia, with their ingenious designs and centuries-old sustainability practices, might just hold the key to building smarter, more environmentally friendly cities in the 21st century. If these structures have withstood the test of time for over 5 centuries, who's to say their architectural wisdom can't be applied to the modern world? The skyscrapers of ancient Arabia are not relics of a forgotten time, they are blueprints for the future, waiting to be rediscovered.